Hello, how's it going? Right. So, in case you don't know me, I'm Mike. I'm from Ripstone, and we're the people behind the Pure Chess series. And what we normally do on these streams, we normally do Twitch versus Pure Chess. So we normally do me playing Pure Chess against the Twitch chat, you guys typing commands into the chat. Now, today, it's going to be a little bit different. Normally I lose. Normally I'm quite bad at chess. It's not that I'm bad at chess, it's that everybody in the chat is better than me. But fortunately, there's actually quite a large chance you're going to lose today. And I'm going to get to laugh at you guys for a change. And that's because we have a Chess Grandmaster on the stream with me. Now, Nick, I'm going to try and get your name right here. Your name is Nicholas Huschenbeth. Did I pronounce this correctly?
That sounds pretty good. Hello, everybody.
Excellent.
And glad to be here, definitely. Nicholas Huschenbeth, yeah, that's my name.
Excellent. Right. So, should I call you Nicholas or Nick? Which do you prefer?
I don't really care. Whatever.
I'm going to go with Nick. I like
Whatever's
Nick.
better for you.
Let's be casual about this. So yeah, basically the way this is going to work is that we're going to jump into a game of chess. You guys in the chat are going to be the white pieces, and Nick is going to be the black pieces, and you're going to be able to. I'll explain this all way better in a second once we get going. But essentially, if you guys can collectively vote on the best moves to make against him, then you're going to win free games on Steam. It's as easy as that. So what we'll do is we'll get jumping right into this, I guess. Now, part of the reason why we're doing this today, there's kind of twofold here. Firstly, Pure Chess is on sale on Steam for this week for 20% off, if anybody is interested in picking it up. We've also, this week, launched the Steampunk set, which I can quickly show you. That came out earlier today on both Steam and Xbox. It's pretty cool. We're not going to be playing with this one today because I feel like it's a bit too funky to be playing an official match like this. But yeah, this one is available today on Steam and on Xbox One if anybody's interested in picking it up. But anyway, yeah, that's the reason why we're doing this today. But I feel like we should just get down to business right now. So,
right.
Are there any sets, Nick, that you're interested in here? We could play with a Staunton, Checker, Williams. What's your preferred set?
I like very classical, so Williams looks pretty good. Can you just show me how that looks like?
Yeah, so Williams on the board. Should we do the metal one? What do you think about that?
Sure, let's try it. Let's see how it looks like.
And museum. Have you ever played chess in a museum, Nick?
That is a good question. Probably, but...
Is this a question I should bring up later while we're playing?
I honestly don't remember. Maybe not. So maybe that would be interesting.
Okay, right. So this is how the Williams board looks. How do you feel about this? Do you feel like you could play on a board like this?
I could. I think I would prefer the wooden style.
The wooden. Oh, okay. You're a man who knows what he wants. Right. Let's do it. Let's go Williams, and let's go wooden.
Yeah, wood.
Wood.
That's what
Nice.
I grew up with.
Classic wood. Right. So here we go then. So that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the instructions up on the screen so the people who are watching know what the heck is going on. Right. So this is for you guys in the chat, okay? I'm going to explain to you how this is going to work. So in a moment, I have a bot that is going to be running, okay? It's called the Pure Chess bot. It's in the chat. I'll make it say hi now so you can see it. And the chess bot is going to, whenever it is the white piece go, whenever it asks you to vote, you need to type in its coordinates, essentially. So I need you to type in the space of the piece you want to move to the space where you want to move the piece to. So for example, if you want to move this piece at D2 here, and you want to move it 2 spaces forward to D4, then when the bot asks you to, you need to type in D2, D4. I mean, I see people in the chat already getting this before I've even started the bot. So that is a very good sign. But then the bot is just going to collect up all of your votes, and then it's going to spit out whichever is the winning vote, and then that move will be made against Nick. So right, let me boot the bot up. and make sure the bot is ready to go. And I'll do a little hello test to make sure that he's working. Are you working, bot? Yes, he's working. That is wonderful. Right. So are you all ready to make your first move?
So let me ask you, why is the Twitch community getting white?
I mean, and this is a thing that Simon Williams, the last Grandmaster we talked to, asked as well. I feel like they can have white this time, and then if we get round to having time for a second game, you can have white next time.
All right, sounds good to me.
So explain to me, like, obviously there's an obvious advantage to going first, but is it a really big advantage to being the white player?
It depends, but certainly it's nice to start because you can put on pressure on your opponent right away. It's the general theme is that if you're white, you can go for an advantage, and if you're black, you're going to try and equalize. So I like to be in the driver's seat. Yeah. And I like to put on pressure right from the start. Whereas with black, you know, the first goal of the game is to equalize first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So essentially, like, if you're black, do you start most games kind of in a defensive, just try to keep up with the white player style?
Well, it always depends what white does, really. I like complicated positions. I like sharp positions, so I try to direct the game there. But if white wants a really dull, boring game, then, well, I cannot do that much. It just always depends what your opponent does. Yeah. And it seems to me that with the white piece, you're better able to go for sharp lines. Mm-hmm. You have more control over what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always lose on the streams, because I always let Twitch be white. So that must be why I always lose.
that must be the reason.
That must be it. That must be it. Right, I'm going to stop the vote. And the bot tells me that E2, E4 is the winning move that people are voting for.
Oh, I like to see that. And in fact, that's the move that has been played in the last 3 World Championship games, which the World Championship is going on right now.
It is indeed, you're right. Yeah.
So this is the move which is fashionable. It's the move I've played all my life. So I'm happy to see this move.
Right. So now, what move do you want to do in response then? Do you have when you see that this happen? Do you have a set move then that you normally do to this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I faced this move so many times, and right now I like to choose between the French defense, which is E7, E6, and the Sicilian defense, which is C7, C5. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to go with the Sicilian. We want a sharp match, so let's go C7, C5.
Okie dokie. C7 to C5. Excellent. And now it's going to be Twitch's go again, and we'll see how they respond to that. So you just mentioned the championships going on right now. So right. Can you, for people who don't know exactly what that is, what exactly is going on there?
Absolutely. So right now in New York, there's a match going on between the world champion, Magnus Carlsen from Norway, and his challenger, Sei Kayakin from Russia. They're going to play up to 12 games, and whoever reaches 6.5 points first wins the match and obtains the title of the world champion. So they've played 4 games so far. So far, all games have ended in draws, but the last 2 games in particular have been extremely exciting because they've been fighting for 6.5 hours.
Oh my god!
And I stayed awake not the whole last night, but the games only start at 8 p.m. here in Germany. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine. It was a long night.
Yeah, but it was
really exciting to watch. And for all of you guys who are interested in chess, I definitely recommend you to check these games out. It's just awesome stuff.
Absolutely. Right, I'm going to stop the vote because there is a vote of G1 F3, which is dominated here. So G1 to F3.
Well, that's the main move.
I'm going to be quadruple checking that I'm doing all of these moves right each time. So just ignore me if I keep repeating the move over and over. Right. So then, what are you thinking?
D7, D6.
D7 to D6. Is that D for Derek?
Yes.
Here's a question for you. Simon Williams, who we had on last time, he had a name for all of the pawns. Do you name all the pawns as well?
I heard about that. I don't know all of Simon's names. I know there's Harry the H pawn.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one I know, really.
I think it was D. I think Derek was D.
Oh, there goes D. Okay. Well, it helps to clarify which pawn you want to move, but no, I don't have a name for all these
that's
pawns.
a shame.
And by the way, Mike.
Yes.
Right now there's a Skype bar, and it's kind of hovering into the chessboard. Can you get rid of it by any chance?
Yeah, unfortunately I can't. I'll tell you what I can do. I can try and make you ever so slightly smaller, and maybe it'll help. There we go. Yeah. It's because I'm calling you on Skype, and Skype has decided that the connection isn't good enough, even though it clearly is, which is useful. Cheers, Skype. But hopefully it means that people can still see what's going on the board. So just going back to the championship for a second. So are people able to watch these matches online?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of commentary going on online. You can either watch on the official side, which I don't even know. I think it's worldchess.com. I don't even know because you need to pay, so I don't do that. But then there's the most popular stream with like 15,000 views ongoing is on Chess24.
Right.
So you can just go to, well, you can either watch it on YouTube. It's live streamed on YouTube. If you type in there World Championship Carlsen kayaking, you'll find it easily, or you go to chess24.com and you'll just find it right away. And what I do, and the reason why I stayed up, I mean, for one, I'm a chess fan. I love to see these matches, and it's just
I'd be surprised if you weren't a chess fan, given what you do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I do, I summarize the games afterwards. So I take the games, I analyze them, and provide like 20-minute, 30-minute summaries, and just going over all the moves and explain them, and kind of making it understandable what these chess cracks are doing there. And that's what I do, and I like to do the videos right after the game, so it's getting pretty late sometimes, but it's just a lot of fun, so I really enjoy doing that.
That's really cool. Right, I am going to stop the vote.
Oh yeah, we should get through the opening pretty quickly, because this is, well...
Oh, it's fine. I enjoy the banter. I enjoy it, and it lets the chat think as well. It lets the chat think. Okay. So they've gone here. They've gone for D2 to D4.
All right.
Like so.
I also saw a lot of bishop f1 to bishop b5 moves there in the chat, but I'm glad that didn't happen, because that would have been a quiet variation, and I'm glad we're going for the so-called open Sicilian here. White opens the center, plays d4, and I'm going to go c takes d4, so c5 takes d4.
Okay, c5 takes d4. There we go. Pawn for pawn. Nice.
Pawn, yes.
And I can set the bot going again, and we'll see how they respond to that.
Right.
Now,
so far in the World Championship match, all of the games where White played 1 e4 were respond to 1 e5, so also moving the king pawn 2 up, and this is a very solid response. But what people are asking for, to see more exciting chess, even people always thirst for more exciting chess. They want to see a Sicilian defense, because it's known to lead to very sharp and tactical positions. And to me, this is really when chess is at its best, when it's just completely wild. Yeah. So much going on. So we might get a game like that. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I've been doing this. We stream chess every single Monday at 4 o'clock UK time, and I do this. I play against the chat, the chat, and like some of the games we've had, especially recently, because I've been learning chess. Right, I knew how to play it, but the more and more I play against the chat, the more I see the silly mistakes I make, and just generally I learn how to be less stupid at chess. And some of the games we played recently have been really like all over the place, sort of, because it is interesting when I think that one thing I've learned is I try not to get set up. It seems like the chat are always trying to set me up. They move something for me to take it, and then the moment I take it, I've left myself open to something.
Right.
So I try to do a lot more kind of, doing like things that I don't believe that they would have accounted for, etc.
Now that you're talking about it, I looked into a game Simon played, the first game.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. It feels like to me. He was offering a pawn. Then he was like, oh no, what have I done? And and he tricked the Twitch users into taking the pawn, and then he got this attack going.
He did, but the thing there was, it was really meta, because he was watching the Twitch chat, and he used the Twitch chat to know that they were falling for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you need to set these little traps there.
Yeah, exactly. That seems to be what I always fall for. Right, I'm going to stop the vote, because we have a vote of F3, D4 here. So F3 to D4. All
right, that was expected. The knight is taking back the pawn.
Yeah.
And knights love to be in the center in general. So right now the knight being on d4 is just very well placed. And I will develop my knight as well, going knight g8 to f6.
G8 to f6. Right. Right, nice. Nice.
Yep, and I'm attacking the pawn on e4. Well, maybe I shouldn't tell this, but I think.
I mean, yeah. So this is the thing I was going to ask you. Like, are you when you were coming into this, were you wondering whether or not you'd sort of be saying your thoughts out loud about the game, or are you kind of keep them to your chest?
Well, okay. This is kind of obvious that I'm attacking the pawn on e4, so
yeah.
I think I can mention that. But when we're getting deeper into the game, I will, well, maybe say some general words about the position, but maybe not tell you guys about my exact plans.
Are you going to try and do a Simon and trick the chat
I don't know.
by making out like you're losing?
I don't know. Maybe if I'm much worse, I have to go to such lengths. I don't know. We will see. We'll see.
Were you when you're going into this? Are you at all worried about the possibility of losing, or did you kind of think, I've probably got this. I'm probably okay.
No, I haven't thought about it at all.
Yeah?
That's not because the possibility of losing is out of question. It's fine if I lose. I will do my best, and if Twitch beats me, that's okay. I don't have any pressure there, honestly.
I like that philosophy. That's
Yeah,
nice and laid back. I wish I had a bit more of that in me.
Oh, really? Well, I'm just here to have a good time, and I think it's awesome to have this going here against Twitch and this whole setup that we're able to do this,
Yeah.
where everybody can contribute, and that's a great thing. And I'm just enjoying this, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Right, I'm going to stop the vote because we have a vote of B1, C3 going on here. So B1 to C3. So they're pulling
That's
a
right.
knight out.
White is developing another piece.
Just after you said as well that moving the knights into a central position is a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Those are usually the best squares. The squares on C3, F3, F6, C6, and most openings. Those are the squares where the knights go to because they have a direct impact on the center. So now I'm not going to develop my other knight, but I'm going to play the pawn move A7 to A6.
Okay. A7, one place forward to A6.
Yes, exactly. And that's called the Najdorf variation.
Okay.
And that is the most popular Sicilian there. So you go into Sicilian by playing 1c5, and then it really spreads out. You can play all these different variations, and they all have these great names. There's a Najdorf named after a world-class player back in the 50s, Miguel Najdorf from Argentina. Then there's the Dragon variation. There's the Richter-Rauser, Taimanov, Kahn, O'Kelly. There's just so much. And this is the move. Najdorf is considered to be, well, one of the most interesting chess openings there is. I think that's fair to say.
Okay.
So I'm really curious because here White has a lot of options. So I'm curious what the Twitch chat will choose.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested because I could see some people. So we have some regulars who are in all of our streams and support us amazingly. A couple of the people are kind of chess fanatics and are in all of our chess streams. There's a guy called Perkle, who I can see is in the chat right now, who is trying to predict the moves that you're going to make. And normally when he tries to predict the moves I'm going to make, he's spot on every time because I'm so predictable. But he seems to be having an issues this time with predicting where you're going to go. So this is good. Right.
Well, yeah, let's see. Let's see.
Vote and see what they're doing. Right.
Yeah.
So here we go then. So actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let the vote go a little longer because there's two different moves which are nearly on top right now, and I want to see if one of them jumps above the other.
Really, here, white has many choices. My personal favorite, I play this position with white as well. It's one of my favorite openings to play. I go, well, maybe I shouldn't influence the vote. Maybe I'll say afterwards.
Okay, I'll tell you when I've stopped the vote, and then you can say what you would do here. But yeah,
this is really one of my favorite openings to play with both colors. So just so rich positions, and you often have these king attacks and just fun to play.
Are there openings that? Are there sometimes when you're playing and an opening happens and you just look at it and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a boring match now. I can tell already.
Absolutely. But you always have some influence over it. I feel like at least after 1e4, there are not too many lines where I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to play this position.
Yeah,
really.
I have to do this for the next hour.
Boring.
Yeah.
I think that happens more so after one knight f3, so bring the knight out in the first move, or 1d4, where like more dry positions can arise. That's just my feeling.
Right, I'm going to stop the vote because one move has jumped to the top now, and it is a2 to a4.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that is a huge surprise.
Yeah? What was it you were thinking?
Well, I like to play the bishop out, bishop c1 to g5.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of the other bishop's moves are also very popular. The most popular move is the bishop going to e3, which is called the English attack. Or well, can lead to English. Well, I think it is called the English attack. And then you can also bring out the king, the bishop next to a king to either c4 or e2. a4 is also, I've seen this as well, but it is not nearly as popular as the other moves. So let me go g7 to g6 here. You
want to go g7 to g6.
Yes. How does Simon call that pawn?
He calls that, I want to say, I don't know. I wanted to say Gary, but I think it's Harry. It can't be Harry and Gary, can it? That can't be right. I can't remember what he calls his G-pawn.
Well,
I'll have to ask him.
Would make sense because there's Gary Kasparov, right?
Well, exactly, yeah. That's why I was wondering, I was wondering whether he called them all after famous chess players.
Well, Harry, there's no famous
Harry
chess player except for Harry Pilk? No, I don't know. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so actually what happened now is that I played g6. This is not what a typical knight of would look like. Now we're actually transposing to the dragon variation. And in the dragon variation, what is kind of the signature move there is that you put the bishop on g7, so you do a fianchetto. So whenever you have to set up where the pawn is on g6 and the bishop on g7 on this long diagonal, the longest diagonal on the board, it's called a fianchetto.
Right. Okay. By the way, I just wanted to say in the chat, there's people dropping us all kinds of things in the chat. So thank you, especially to Swedish Cheese. Just wanted to say a shout out to Swedish Cheese. You know you're being great. Thank you, Cheese. Anyway, yeah, that was a bit of a chat derail for a second. There's actually a move right now which is way higher than all the others. So I might at first the votes were all over the place.
Okay.
But now there's one which has jumped up higher than all the others, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna start the vote because it's really high now. The move that has jumped all the way to the top, after a bit of confusion in the beginning, is f1 to c4.
All right. Well, interesting. I didn't expect that, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, well, white is developing the bishop, but it feels like white is kind of combining two plans here where I'm not sure if they belong together. White could have also played bishop c4 in the last move. So let's see where they're going with this. I will just continue with my development, go bishop f8 to g7.
What was that again, sorry?
Bishop f8.
Oh, yeah.
To g7.
To g7. G7.
Yes, right there. Right there. Yes.
Got you. Got you.
That's it.
Right. And this is this board is already looking far more complex than the boards that I normally do.
Really?
I either when I play, I'm either trying to be defensive and trying to let them come to me and keeping everything kind of defensive while also trying to take the middle, or I just try and go hard and see if I can pay it, and it never goes well for me. It never goes well for me.
Well, you need a balance, I guess, of everything. You need to make
that's what I'm missing. Yeah.
You need to develop your pieces and make sure you have a good grip on the center, and then of course also make sure you're not hanging at anything and all your pieces are participating. So just a lot of factors.
Yeah.
But really the opening phase is usually about just developing your pieces and getting your king into safety, and that's what we're both doing here.
Yeah. Right. Well, there is a vote which is getting all of the votes right now, so I'm gonna just stop it right now already because it's obvious what they want to do. What they want to do is e1 g1.
All right. Well, I just said it, right? Get the king into safety, and that's how you do it. You castle, so you get your king out of the center, where a lot of the action will happen in the future, and I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Okay.
E8 to G8.
E8 to G8. Also castling. Now, I learned a thing about castling earlier this week during one of these streams, actually, that I had never heard before. It was, I'm still learning things about chess. I didn't realize that you can't castle if it means that moving your king through check would occur. I had no idea about that rule, and I was all like, yeah, I'm going to castle now, and this is going to be great. And then the game wouldn't let me. and it turned out it's because there was a queen watching the space where the king would have to move through.
Yeah, that's very true. You cannot move through check, and you can also not castle when you are in check right now. So this is important to know. Yeah.
Huh. Wow. There we go. There we go. Still learning things.
Still learning.
Right.
Yep.
I want to ask you some questions to try and distract you now. So I want to ask you, as far as I'm aware, you first started playing chess when you were what, like 5 years old?
Yeah, or maybe even 4.
Really?
Or maybe even 3, but I don't really know. Obviously, I don't remember much, but I think 4 is a good kind of in between of 3 and 5. So I think about 4. Yeah, my dad taught it to me when I was very young, and as you can tell, I've stuck with it.
Well, yeah.
For
quite a long time, yeah.
Yeah, what really helped me in the beginning was we had like an old chess computer, like a wooden one, where you could play against it, and I always had somebody to play with, right? Because obviously my dad couldn't play with me all the time, so that was, I think, good way for me to get started.
Yeah.
And then there was like a chess club or like chess group at my elementary school. I went there and just took off like that.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I think I was briefly in a chess club at school, and then as I have rediscovered recently, I'm not very good at chess, so I didn't really keep up with that. Because I'm the kind of person who has to bail on something if I'm not very good at it. I can't just enjoy it. I have to be good at it as well. So. Well,
I mean, that's a healthy dose of ambition there.
I guess so. That's an incredibly polite way to put it. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna stop the vote.
Okay.
Because we have got a C1 G5 happening here.
All right.
C1 to G5. G5. Let me quadruple check that's right. Yes, it is. There we go. That is what the chat wants to do. How
Okay.
do you respond, Nick? How do you respond?
Well, now White has developed all his minor pieces, which is a really good strategy. And to be honest, I'm wondering if I can do something fancy here, but it might be too early. So I have to take a quick look in the position if I can be fancy or if I should just play.
You
like
know, when you're playing a regular game, how long do you normally take to? Because I'm getting the feeling right now I'm kind of rushing you into moves. Do you normally actually take your time thinking about the move you're going to do?
Well, that's so in the opening you usually know what to do because you've seen these positions before and it's pretty straightforward. But as you're getting into a middle game, that's what's slowly starting here. We're almost pretty much done with the opening. You take more time because it's about developing your plans, making sure you're putting your piece on the right squares, and making sure you're not overlooking any tactics. So yeah, as the game progresses, you take more time, but there's no general guideline of how much time you will take for a move. It always depends.
Okay. Well, just so you know, if at some point it's your go and you need to take some extra time, you let me know. I can banter for a while. I'll cover for you, okay?
Okay. Okay. Well, I think... Okay, let me just double check. I think I won't go for anything... Oh, maybe I should.
You're going to do something crazy. Because I do like crazy.
You do like crazy.
I love a bit of crazy, yeah.
You're tempting me. I
don't know what I'd do in this position.
Now, let's just bring the knight out. Let's play normal chess. Knight b8 to c6.
Do you know, that's exactly the move I was thinking that I would do. How good's that?
Well.
And I'm not actually lying either. That's actually what I was thinking I would do. So I feel happy that maybe I'm learning something here. Thank you for the cheer, Swedish Cheese, by the way. Swedish Cheese is throwing all the cheers into the chat, awesome. Which is very lovely of him.
Yeah, I just want to develop another piece. For all the viewers, what I was looking at was knight takes e4, which temporarily gives up a piece, but after knight takes e4, there's a fork with d5, so you just have to visualize this in your mind right now. But I was not quite sure how good it is, and I didn't want to open up the game too early. I'd rather, well, keep it like that and just play normal.
In a lot of chess games, is it obvious to you when you're playing when... in a lot of games, is there an obvious moment where a move or a take happens and both players go, okay, well, this is over now. We both know where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Some positions you just know it's game over and you just have to finish your job. But still, you know, they like to say one of the hardest things in chess is to win one positions, to actually convert, because, well, you can even if you're completely winning, you can still step wrong. And actually that's one of the brutal things in chess. You can play an excellent game, be better the whole time throughout the game, but then play one single bad move and you throw it all away. So yeah, you gotta be on top the whole time.
Yeah, you gotta get on top, but then you gotta keep the balance. You gotta keep the balance. That's a great metaphor, right there.
Yeah, you gotta stay well focused and not be done with the game in your head too early.
Sure.
Always gotta finish the job when you're better.
Yeah.
Or when you're winning.
I am going to stop the vote because there is a move which has rocketed to the top.
Alright.
And it is d4 to c6.
Okay.
Which is knight takes knight. Let me quadruple check this. d4 to c6. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, that's an easy reply for me. Just b7 to c6.
b7, the pawn, to c6, the knight.
Right, so just recapturing the knight, and honestly I'm not too unhappy about this sequence because what I like here is I'm getting the half open b file for my rook, and also I'm getting another pawn closer to a center, so in the future if I ever want to build up a center or rather compete for the center, because right now white is having the center, having the pawn on e4. I'm better able to do so because I have another supporting pawn on c6.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But
it's going okay, is what you're saying. It's going okay.
So far it's going okay, but once again, not much has happened, honestly.
Yeah.
So too early.
Okay, too early to call right now. By the way, anybody watching who is not familiar with what is going on right now, because I assume there are people who have joined since I explained what the heck is happening right now. We're playing a game called Pure Chess. It's from us, Ripstone, and we have Nicholas on, who is a chess grandmaster. All of his details should be above his head over there on that side of the screen. And he's playing against you. Whenever the Pure Chess bot asks you to in the Twitch chat, you can just type moves into the chat, and the bot will tabulate. Is tabulate a word? It's probably a word. All of the results together, and then whichever one has been voted for the most is going to happen. And you guys are the white pieces, which is why you are voting right now. And we do this quite a lot. We do lots of these things, and we've got more of these things planned as well. Loads more of them, in fact. Loads of exciting things. So if you do want to keep up to speed with all of this ridiculousness we're doing, then please consider following us on Twitch, because we do like it when people follow us. We've got lots. We've got some of our regulars are just the most lovely people. Some of them are horrible as well, just horrible human beings. You know who I'm talking about, you Keptar. I see you in the chat there. But otherwise, yeah, we've got some lovely regulars, and we'd love to add to them as well. Right, let's stop the vote now, because we have another move. There's been lots of different moves that were voted for, but one of them has rocketed above the others, and that is D1, D2. All right. D1 to
very
D2.
sensible move.
Moving the queen forwards.
Improving the queen position a little bit, connecting the rooks. And let's see what I shall do here. Okay, let me just go rook a8 to b8.
A8, rook at a8 to b8.
Yes, that's
b8.
Right.
There we go. Right.
That just seemed like a useful move, because I'm putting my rook on a better square there, and now the rook is doing something on the half open b file. Just a useful move to insert, I think.
So at this point in the game, are you essentially, you kind of have a plan in your head of what you'd like to do, and you're trying to get into positions now where you can make that plan happen while also kind of counteracting and getting into positions as the white pieces are moving as well?
I don't really have like a fixed plan in my head already. I'm just playing useful moves, improving the position of my pieces for now, and we'll just see where this goes. I mean, I've had similar positions before, so I'm kind of also just taking it out of my memory where I need to play. So, but I definitely have to think more here and always make sure I'm not missing any tactics, of course.
So what you're saying basically is that I should keep asking you questions and distracting you as much as possible so that you forget all the moves that are in your head right now. That would be...
that wouldn't happen.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe if I talk enough, you'll forget some things. Right, I'm going to stop the vote.
Okay.
Because once again, we've got a move that has rocketed to the top, and it is A1, B1.
Okay, so just mirroring my rook move.
To B1, quadruple checking, that's right.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Just defending the pawn on B2, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, now let's see, what can I do? Let's see. Alright, I think I got a move.
Yeah.
I will play rook f8 to e8.
F8 to e8.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay. Are you? How are you playing right now? Are you playing a slightly safe game right now, or are we gearing up for craziness? Because as I told you, I do like crazy. So.
Yeah, it's the position is not that crazy as of now because to have craziness, oftentimes what you need in a position is the kings being on opposite sides of the board. So one king castling to, let's say, the queen side, and the other king castling to the king side. Because then what you can do is you can just push the pawns on the side of the board where you don't have your king. So if you castle to the queen side, you push your pawns on the king side, and you can try to open up the opponent's king position.
Right.
Here, as you can see, we have both the kings on the king side.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for either side to advance their pawns too much, because that would severely weaken their own king, making the king vulnerable and be a target. So this is not going to happen, but we might see some exciting stuff later on. As long as the queens are on, and I mean even if the queens come off, but usually there's more higher chances for exciting things to happen with the queens on the board. You can definitely still count on that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems obvious to me that there's quite a. It seems like there's a sizable difference between how they're playing and how you're playing right now. In that you essentially don't have anything even sort of close to the center line, whereas they have advanced quite a lot and actually crossed over into your side as well.
That is very true. Yeah, that's a good observation. White has more space here with the pawn on e4. But my position is very solid. I don't have any weaknesses, and I feel quite comfortable here, to be honest. I will be able to get into the center at some point. Don't worry.
Okay.
I will get there.
Okay, I'll try not to worry too much about you.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Right, I'm going to stop the vote.
Okay.
And the move that they are making is b2, b4.
b2, b4.
b2
All right.
to b4.
I have to say, I did not see this move coming, which can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, because you were just you were kind of just saying about moving the pawns, right?
Well, but that's
I mean,
on the
they've
other
kept
side
them
of the
back on
board.
the king's side, but yeah, this is interesting.
That is on the other side of the board, and this is an interesting move. White is winning some space. On the other hand, also weakening some squares, and that's usually what happens. There's this famous quote from, I think, Ulf Andersson, a Swedish chess player, if I'm not mistaken, and he likes to say, every pawn move weakens a square. And but sometimes, well, you always have this trade-off. You move a pawn up, you win more space, but on the other hand, you also weaken something in return. So let's see if I can make use of that in any way.
Okay. Well, while you're thinking of your move, I just wanted to say a quick, massive thank you to everybody who is following us and hosting us and throwing bits at us and everything. It's amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, like, if there's anybody watching who isn't already following us and you're enjoying this, we do this all the time. We do all kinds of things. We don't just do chess either. We do a lot of other games. At Ripstone, we're a developer and a publisher, so we have our own games and we publish other games. We do a bunch of stuff. So yeah, do feel free to give us the little follow there, and I mean, it'll make me really happy. It'll make this British man happy, and everybody knows that making British people happy is really cute. So yeah, do that, please. Right, have you thought of your move?
And let's just go with it. I'll go a6, a5.
A6, pawn at a6
Yep.
to a5.
That's right.
Okay, let me double check that. Right, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this move, but
I mean, I think I can see why you've done it.
yeah, I'm trying to compete for the space there.
Yeah.
And see how White reacts to this.
Yeah.
I'm personally not sure about this move, but it's interesting, and I like to see what happens here.
Right, I am going to. I should read. I got distracted a second by Ash subbing to us. Thank you so much, Ash. That is amazing of you. I'm gonna quickly restart the chess bot. There we go. Right, there we go. You can all vote again. I apologise. I got distracted.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, we'll see what they do. But from my perspective there, it seems to me like what you've tried to do is bait them into moving that pawn so that you can, well, so that then there's a clear line between the rooks then.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, white has to react in some way to my threat now of taking the pawn on b4. And the question is, will they take the pawn on a5? Will they move forward, or maybe play something completely different? Okay. So we shall see.
Right. Well, the answer, I'll put you out of your misery, and you can find out what the answer is right now.
Misery.
Your misery, yeah. Your misery. The answer is that they have gone b4 to b5.
All right. Yeah. I think that's a good move. So let me take this off. I'll go c6 takes b5.
c6 takes b5.
Right.
Got it.
And now you can look at a position. You can see white has 4 ways to recapture the pawn on b5, with the pawn, with the bishop, with the knight, or with the rook. So a lot of choice here for the Twitch community, and I'm curious what they will decide on.
But also, I just have to say that I feel like you're baiting them a little bit. I'm not going to put words into your mouth here, but I feel like some kind of bait and switch is happening here. So Twitch chat, just be wary, please.
Okay.
Maybe don't do the obvious things here.
Yeah, maybe don't take the pawn, guys. Play something else.
Right, I'm gonna distract you again, quick, because I feel like it's going too well for you right now. Now we asked the community in our Discord to post questions. And if anybody has questions for Nick, by the way, you can just post them in our Discord. The link has been appearing every now and again automatically, but I'm sure that the wonderful Holly, who is working there she's posted it already. Look how quick she is. If you go in our Discord server, then you can post some questions in there, and then Holly will go print them out on pieces of paper and bring them to me, and then I can ask them. How good's that? Technology.
Awesome.
Who would have thought it? So the Snee, someone called the Snee, has asked. Well, he's asked 2 questions really. I'll ask you the first one. He's asked, what is the longest game of chess you've ever played? Can you remember what that is?
Yes. I think it must have been about 7 hours. Yeah. These days, all the different tournaments, they have different time controls. So sometimes you have shorter games, and sometimes you can have these extremely long games. And actually, one of my biggest wins, actually my win against the strongest player I was able to beat, I think that was close to a 7-hour game, I would say. Because he was defending very well, and I just tried to somehow crack through, and eventually managed to. And with the time controls these days, you usually get like half a minute per move. So with every move, you get half a minute added to your time, and that means the games can go on for a very long time if you play a lot of moves. Yeah. So that's how it's possible to have these super long games. But that's extreme. Most games will last between 3 and 4 hours, I would say. That's pretty standard.
Right, okay. Fair enough.
But after 7 hours, you're just completely wasted.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would imagine at that point, you're just both like so fatigued that it's, you're making like someone makes a slip up just out of tiredness at that point.
Yeah, so. and you know, it's just impressive to see the World Championship match going on, and those guys, they've played 2 6.5 hour games in a row. So yesterday and the day before.
In a single day?
No, not in a single day.
I was going to say, that would be crazy.
But people have done it as well, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, in 2 games. But I mean, you also have to imagine all the pressure being on the players. And really, a loss can really set you back because you don't have that many games. There are just 12 total, which is not that much. 4 have been played so far, and nobody wants to lose, obviously. So it's tough, but well, they're there for a reason.
Yeah, right. There are 2 different moves which got a high number of votes.
Right.
One of them just slightly more than the other, and I've left it going a little while. And I think I'm going to have to go... So the second one, which has just missed out, was c3 b5. So they were thinking of moving to take the pawn with the knight, but instead the move that they've done is a4 b5.
I think that was a good choice. I think knight c3 to b5 would have been a mistake. Well, I might take this back. Not sure, in fact, because it leaves the pawn hanging on e4, but white might have some tactics there. So, okay, let's focus on this position now. This is actually also a move I expected, and now I would like to go bishop c8 to b7.
c8 to b7.
Yep.
Okay. c8, b7.
Developing my last minor piece, and now I also have all the pieces into the game, and yeah, we shall see where this goes now. I mean, we both have passed pawns. I have the passed pawn on a5, which doesn't have a counterpart anymore, and white has the pawn on b5, which is quite well protected by the rook, and won't be easy for me to get rid of this one, but we shall see.
Yeah. I'll distract you again with the ending of the sneeze question. Understandably, his other question was, what is the shortest game that you've ever played?
Oh, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
I had one game that just lasted 5 moves.
Wow.
There's this one opening trap where you
get killed by the queen.
Not quite, where it's like you give a checkmate actually really early.
Oh, really?
It's not the fool's mate or whatever, it's a little bit more sophisticated.
Okay.
But my opponent fell right into it, and it was just hilarious. So I was done after like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes or so, and he was so embarrassed he just immediately took all the pieces off the board, so nobody could see it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, he was not a bad player.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't super strong, but he was a decent player.
Yeah.
And it was at a tournament in Baltimore, and yeah, the game lasted 5 moves.
Oh no,
so
that must be embarrassing.
I don't think I'll ever beat that. I don't think I'll ever beat that record.
Oh no, that is awkward. Right, I'll stop the vote because the move that they have voted for is f1, e1, f1 to e1. So
all right.
Moving the rook across.
Yeah, that makes sense. Defending the pawn on e4. Let's see how I want to deal with this.
Okay. By the way, while you're doing that, I should tell everybody again, just in case there's new people coming in. This is Pure Chess that we're playing, and as you can see from that little sign above my head up there, it's currently 20% off on Steam. So if you like what you see, or if you're just really into chess and you're looking for a chess PC game, it's 20% off on Steam. So you can always go grab that. That would be nice. Yeah. Are you thinking you know the move you want to do yet, or should I banter a bit more? What are you thinking?
You can pluck a little bit more if you want to.
Yeah.
Sure. I have a candidate, but I'm not quite sure. So let me just consider a little bit longer, okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I guess I should point out to everybody as well. It's not just the game's not just on Steam. It's also on Xbox One. It's the Grandmaster Edition, so it kind of comes with Pure Chess and a bunch of like extra chess sets and environments and all that kind of stuff. The game's on PlayStation as well. If you're into that, PlayStation people, please do not feel left out. We love you too.
That's awesome.
So
okay,
yeah.
I think I got my move. I'll just play rook from b8 to c8.
b8, one across to c8.
Right.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes. Because my rook wasn't doing too much on b8 anymore, so I was like, okay, let's activate this guy, get it back into the game. You know, there's this technique which I personally don't use, I guess, but it might be helpful for players starting out, and it's called speaking with your pieces, which first sounds kind of weird, and maybe it is a little bit, but the idea is that you ask every single one of your pieces, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling okay? Would you like to be in a better spot? Right? And
if you combined that with Simon's naming the pawns, he could just be talking to his pawns all day, couldn't he?
It gets very personal.
Yeah.
So by doing this, you just check, are all my pieces in good spots, or can they be improved?
Got it.
Can they be more effective somewhere on the board? And that can help to help you to figure out what could be a good way to play.
Okay. So
Of course,
when you
always.
talked to your rook, then did he essentially say he didn't feel
Yeah.
like he was doing much, and he
Yeah.
felt like he could get more involved in the team?
Exactly. I asked him, Rook, how are you feeling right now? And he was like, move me over there. Get me into
Out
a
of
game."
curiosity, what was his accent? What accent does the rook have?
It's a thick German accent.
Excellent. There are a couple of moves which
Okay.
are both high up, so I'm going to let it ride for a little while. Maybe I'll ask you another question.
Sure.
Ghost Gamer, one of our he's kind of one of the regulars on this channel. He's in every single stream. When he's not in the stream, we worry that something has happened to him. So Ghost Gamer has asked in the Discord, what your favorite opening is.
My favorite opening, well, in fact, that is the Night Earth. So what we're seeing today, we're
Right.
not seeing one of the sharpest variations, which I would like to play in white for a little bit, because with this move A4, you're kind of setting the tone, because once you play A4, you're not really going to castle queenside anymore. So all these scenarios I talked about earlier, where you have opposite castle positions, so one castle on the king side, the other castle on the queen side, are not likely to happen anymore, because in most cases black is going to castle king side, and here we see white also castle king side. But the Night Earth is just such a rich opening with so many complex lines, and like I said, it leads often to tactical wild positions with attacks going on, and that's just the most fun to me. And I like to play with both colors, even though if I had to choose, I would prefer it with the white pieces, in fact.
Okay. Don't worry, we'll let you play with the white pieces the second time around.
Okay.
If we get to that point, because obviously
get to that
this
point,
match
yeah.
might go on for 3 hours. We don't know yet. We're going to have to see what happens.
We don't know.
But I'll tell you what, now there is a one of the moves has now jumped up. So I can tell you the move they have made is C4 to D3.
All right. Yeah, I was attacking this bishop, so makes a lot of sense to drop it back and move it. All right, let me see how am I going to react here.
This is starting to look a lot more like, from my perspective, it's kind of like there's a you're slightly moving up the A side now, whereas they are they're kind of bringing things around on the H side, and I don't really know, to be honest, which is the more useful of the two when you've got the kings in those positions.
Okay, I think I might have a good one here, and this will definitely spice up now. Let me just double check, but I'm feeling pretty good about this move.
Is this going to be crazy?
A little bit crazy.
Okay, I can take a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy is okay.
Okay, let's go for it. Rook C8 takes the knight on C3.
Right. So, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so now
Okay.
suddenly it's definitely spicing up, and
Yeah, I mean,
that
that feels like it was crazy.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good. So,
we'll see how this turns out. I hope I didn't miss anything, but I'm feeling pretty confident here.
okay.
But we shall see. It's definitely not that clear. So this is going to be interesting for sure.
Thank you again for the bit, Swedish Cheese. Although I would prefer to have less sass from you, Swedish Cheese, with each time that you post. Like I say, our regulars are lovely people most of the time. Right, there is a move happening here that literally everybody is going for, which I think you can probably
You can
guess.
stop
But I'm
it.
going to stop the vote already. There's no point in carrying this vote on. the obvious vote here is d2 c3.
All right. So I've seen that coming.
Yeah, and right. So this is the thing. Okay, I assumed when that just happened, then I saw that queen, and I thought, okay, the obvious move here to make is the queen, which makes me think that they should not be doing this. That you are purposely baiting them for something.
No. Sometimes you need to make the obvious moves.
Okay.
I'm taking a piece. They have to take back. Otherwise, it's just a piece down, right?
Yeah, so I guess so. That's true.
It's just a necessity. Now I go knight f6, takes pawn on e4.
e4. Right.
Yep.
Okay.
e4. Get it.
Okay. Interesting. This is getting a bit silly now. I love it.
We shall see how silly this is.
Well, it feels like for the last sort of nearly an hour, there's been a lot of both of you back and forthing, just trying to back up all your pieces, and then all of a sudden you're just going for it now.
Right. I mean, the beginning of the game is just getting your piece out and bringing your king into safety. So you cannot, start fireworks right from the start. I mean, you can, but it's quite risky. So once you have all your pieces set in place, then you can see if you can make any concrete operations. And here it seemed to me that this is possible, where sacrifice in exchange means giving a rook for a minor piece, so in this case the knight on c3, and then following up with this move. And I'm curious how Twitch will respond to this.
Yeah, I feel like I can guess what they're going to do, but let's see. Right, well, there's one move which has jumped ahead, and I think it's the one I thought, I'm fairly certain you can probably guess what they've done here.
No, I have no clue.
Okay, well, here we go then. The answer is that they've gone d3 to e4.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that?
Do you really want to know? I feel very happy about this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you might feel very happy. Because so this is what I keep saying. When I watched Simon play, it was very much like I could just tell that he was leading people into things, and I feel like that's just what you're doing right now.
Well, I mean, I have an obvious move here. I play bishop g7 takes queen on c3.
Yeah, c3. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to call it too early, but it feels a little bit like that was quite a deciding move there.
Yeah, I mean, right now I have a queen, and white just has a rook for the queen.
Yeah.
Depending on what they do, that situation may change, but I don't think the white will get enough material for the queen. I think there was a better way to give up the queen by taking the bishop on g7 first. But either way, it feels to me that black should be better, definitely. So this was just this is what I was talking about. These are the tactics in the game.
Yeah.
Right? You always need to watch out for these forcing lines in which, well, the situation on the board can just change drastically, as we just saw happening here, right? So this is just so essential.
Yeah, I mean, the chat is basically... I've started the vote again, but 90% of people are saying the word resign at this point. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think... I'll just double check. Is everybody wanting to resign and start a new game here? I know you're already all saying resign, but can I just get more resigns in the chat if this is what you want to do?
Well, is that actually can you vote resign too?
What we normally do in these, we're gonna have it so the bot can pick up the word resign in the future. But what we've been saying for the last few streams is that if the chat wants to resign, if there is a big enough C of the word resign, then we assume that's what they want to do. And right now, the chat is definitely filled with all of the salt in the world. I feel like this might be the end of this game. Yeah, I think we'll stop this one. Right, so that's it. You've won your first game. How did that feel? Was that easy enough?
I'm quite happy. I think the resignation comes too early. In fact, you could try on a little bit here, but I should be able to win here. I'm pretty sure. White should take the bishop on b7. You can just make a few moves if you want to. Or is that possible? Can you just make a few moves?
I can. Yeah, if you want me to play out how they're, because they've resigned now, so I think this is
just
done
make
now.
a few moves just to show what I was thinking.
So what do you think they should have done at this point?
Bishop e4 takes b7.
E4 takes where was it? Sorry, b7. Okay.
Yes. Taking the bishop, then I'll take the rook on e1. Bishop c3 takes e1.
Say that again, sorry.
C3 takes e1.
Takes e. Oh,
e1. The rook.
Rook. I see you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. And rook takes back.
Where else?
b1. Rook b1 takes
b1
e1.
Takes e1. Yep.
Right. So we have this position, and here all white has for the queen is 2 bishops. But white also still has this passed pawn on b5. So I
mean, it's still not looking good though, is it?
It is not looking good. No. Like I said, I should be able to win, but this is not completely trivial. I would still need to work here. To make sure I get this. So I think the resignation came a little bit too early, but I'm quite happy to see it, obviously.
Yeah. Right. Well, chat, unfortunately you've lost game number 1, but what it does mean is that we've got a nice chunk of time to do a second game. Now, what I need you to do is not mess it up this time. Because if you guys manage to beat Nick today, then you're all going to win a free Steam game, okay? You don't win a free Steam game this time because that was a terrible defeat.